evening, everyone. I'm your host, comedian, magician, Danny Whitson. But it's all tricks aside, because tonight we're turning the paranormal into the normal. Join me as we explore the gray areas of reality. We're going to talk all things paranormal, UFOs, ghosts, cryptids, and aliens, and see how it's all connected. This podcast is brought to you by the Experiencer Support Association, and we are live. So if you're an experiencer yourself, or you're just plain nosy, be sure to send me your question and subscribe to the podcast. Now, get ready, because it's going to get deep. No, really, we're going to go way out there, because this is Beyond the TinFoil Hat. What's happening, paranormal junkies? Welcome to Beyond the TinFoil Hat, and I'm your host, comedian, magician, Danny Whitson, and we are broadcasting live from the E-United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, on 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 in New Orleans. Guys, do we have an awesome show for you? But first, let me first say, if you guys have not done so, head over to theexperiencersupport.org and check out some articles and check out some cool stories from Ryan Stacy. And if you have any experiences you would like to share, let Ryan know. He will check it out, investigate it, and we may even get you on the show. Yes. Also, head over to Patreon and give us some love at Heed the World on patreon.com. Now, tonight's guest. I'm super excited. He's a great friend of mine. I've known him for a while. He's a professional extreme wrestler and also hosts his very own show on Roku, Hack's Horror Show. So let's welcome tonight's guest, Hack.
Hi, kids.
I'm pretty sure, Hack, that's how you start every show, too, on Hack's Horror Show. Am I right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody recognizes me unless I say, hi, kids, and wear a leather jacket.
And then if they've ever been to a horror con, period, I'm sure they've ran into you. But if you don't mind, do you care to let the viewers know a little more about you?
Yes, Hack, host of Hack's Horror Show. Like Danny said earlier, I'm a professional wrestler, television host, and now I guess movie guy, doing all these movie cameos. You can see me in tons of horror films doing the little cameos. You can see my show on Roku. It's free. Just download the app and check it out on there, or on YouTube, Vimeo, all those places. The Monster Channel. I got to say what's up to the Monster Channel and all those guys. They're all awesome. A lot of great hosts. But yeah, and your local horror convention, you'll probably see me at. We were just at FrankieCon this past weekend. Hanging out with Honey and doing a whole bunch of fun stuff there. It was a whole lot. It was a blast. But yeah, check out Hack's Horror Show if you get the chance.
Well, one of the super cool things, I mean, you're everywhere. I mean, Hacks, you're all over the country, Texas, popping up. And yeah, and you've done your fair share of horror films. You never know. You may be watching something on one of the stations, Shudder. You never know. And you see Hack pop up there. You see your familiar face. Me and you also had the pleasure of being in a movie together, which was a comedy horror movie, but I think it was more comedy.
Yes, WJHCAM. Yeah, it was the best. I have to say, Danny, you were my favorite part of that entire movie.
Shut up. There we go.
But by far, I was happy to be there. That's one of the few, very, very few films I got to be a different character. All the other movies, it's me because I just pop up in the middle and I'm like, "Hi, kids," and then I die, and that's the end of me. But that one was a whole lot of fun. I'm ready to do
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I got to do some improv. And for you guys not aware, the movie is called WJHCAM. You can go check it out on Amazon Prime, stream it a bunch of places. You can even go check it out, I think, on Tubi.
Yes.
Which hey, dude, do not knock Tubi. Tubi has some fantastic stuff on it. It really does. It got some great stuff.
It's my favorite thing to watch. They have all the full moon movies. They have a lot of big and funky
Yeah,
productions. They got a lot of their films on there. A lot of stuff. Tubi's the best, man.
dude, I
Like, if you
love
don't
it.
have Tubi, man, you're really missing out on TV. You can get the Netflix and the Hulu, but you really want to get Tubi.
Well, let's do this real quick because the one thing that I find very interesting about you, Hack, is this is your life. You eat, live, drink, sleep, everything spooky, horror con stuff. That is your baby. And
Yes.
you know,
That's every day. Every day it's watching something like this or being a part of something like that.
and as you know, a lot of these horror movies and stuff, especially these days, are inspired by actual events. You know, a lot of times whenever if you, I mean, a lot of stuff you could trace back and be like, well, I know where they came up for, this movie or that movie of something that actually really happened. And a lot of times, the truth is a little more terrifying,
Yes.
So, but well, first let me do this before, because I do know you've got a very interesting paranormal story. But before we get into it, I want to know what got you into what you're doing. What got you interested in in the horror movies?
I guess it started with me as a young kid. Growing up, life for me as a kid was a little bit rough, and I had tough times. So it was real life that really, really scared me. Not so much the monsters that I seen on TV. And seeing them and how they were, and I thought that was just so fun. Like people being afraid and running from you, just like popping up. So I was always attracted to stuff that was more macabre, more strange. Like it always really, really intrigued me because I found an interest in it very, very early, at a very young age. Staying up late, which I shouldn't have been. Kids don't stay up late, but I was staying up late and, flipping through the channels, and I would come across these just these wild movies that I've never heard of. Like they weren't really in the theaters or anything like that. It was mostly just these scary B movies I would see on late night television. I had a true love for that and professional wrestling all at the same time. And that was the goal. Like when I was a kid, I made a bet with my mother for $250 because I believed at the time that $250 was, as much as $1,000,000.
Hey, I'll take it. But go ahead.
And I told her very young, I was like, this is what I want to do in my life. Like, I want to be on television and I want to be like this wild guy. And I said, I want to be a professional wrestler. She's like, you're not very tall. And I was like, well, I'll carry a chainsaw. And everybody would be afraid of me if I carry a chainsaw. So that was the origin of that. But doing the professional wrestling and the horror hosting television, they came together at the same time, and it all started from just staying up late watching the movies and just not being afraid of them because real life at the time was more scary for me than anything I could see, and it became a little bit of an escape for me. And just the fantasy land of like these weird, crazy monsters that I've seen, like giant sharks and zombies popping out of the ground. Like I always thought it was so much fun. I thought it was theater at its highest because it was so out of the ordinary with all the movies. So
Now, I've heard this. This has been said a few times. We've had some guests on here that have said this. What do you think about? Have you heard, like, because you've seen a lot of movies? You're an expert
yes.
on any type of scary movie, anything out there. We've had some guests on in the past, though, that feel like Hollywood is almost trying to prepare us for things to come. And even when you look back, like what was the Contagion came out before
Yes.
the pandemic hit, and all these coincidence type movies, and like look at Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes.
And how similar of like what's going on right now with the UFO phenomenon and stuff. Uh, Now, I mean, I know now that's not exactly the same like on some of the horror movies, but if you look at like some of those other type of alien invasion movies or zombie apocalypse type movies, I mean, sometimes it makes you wonder. Have you ever had those thoughts?
Actually, more than once. But yeah, for me, being in film and television for so long, meeting so many people, talking to so many people, you hear different things, different stuff like that. But the main thing is like knowing marketing and how it is. Movies absolutely will show you something that is absolutely true because it's almost like a census. It's like how would they react? They look at people's comments, stuff like that, about how they felt, and everybody will post it online saying, "Well, if I was in that situation, I would have done that." So movies do have a lot of movies are just almost a pre-warning, like this thing is
Absolutely.
going to happen, so we're just going to feel it out and see how people are going to do. And you mentioned UFOs, actually. Me recently, I've been working with with the university and another college, and we have teamed up to create this children's show that I've been working on. So I got the backing of the university and this college, and I really want to bring this science kids show to life with me, and it gave me the chance to meet so many of these top scientists from all around the country and a lot of these doctors and the people that really study it. And the one really interesting thing was I got to interview a lady that works for NASA, and this lady has put things on different planets. So I mean, she's not like making the coffee. She is she
Yeah.
is like involved, like she is doing a lot of the stuff. And when the cameras were off and everything like that, I just wanted to walk over there and kindly mention. I was like, "Hey," and jokingly, like Danny, you know me, like I always try to be friendly, nice, and have a good time. But I was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, the aliens, what's that about?" And she just
I
turns
love the
to,
way you went straight there, dude.
yeah,
We
I
love
did.
that. Kudos to you, Ack. Hell yeah.
Yes,
He's like, I want to know about the aliens.
yeah, that's exactly how it did. I was like, "So these aliens, it's a thing." And she just looks at me and she's like, "Oh, honey, yes, of course. It's always been a thing. We've known for X amount of years since the 1920s, and a lot of
Wow.
the science was just reverse engineered, and we're doing it back." She's like, "Oh, I have a whole paper on it or whatever. We ain't published it yet because we don't want to scare anybody." And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, "Stop." Don't tell me anything else unless you want to come rock me to sleep tonight. Because I was expecting like a slap on the arm, like, "Oh, will you stop at another one?" Instead, it was completely opposite. She's like, "Oh, yeah, they're absolutely a thing." So when you hear it firsthand from a lady from NASA that aliens are real, uh, that's kind of spooky. So I mean, anybody can take for that what that is. I have no reason to fluff anything up at all. Like, no, that was just straight what they said. I wish I knew more about it, but I was so spooked at the time. I was like, I just want to get the cameras and we'll get going. It was so great to talk to you. Like, please don't tell me anything else that's gonna have me boarding up my windows later on.
Well, that's what the thing I love though. You're not afraid to ask. You're just going to come out with it. I would have done the same thing. And I do want to get this real quick. Our very own, our Tessa Godfather, Ryan Stacy said, "What about They Live?" Like right behind me. They live with Roddy Piper. Dude, that movie right there. When you go back and watch that movie, that's exactly.
That's
It's kind
exactly
of
it.
like is what's going on. We were pre-warned. You know what I mean?
Yes,
uh
actually, in my house, you can't see now, but just right outside my door, going down the stairs, the whole hallway is They Live, going all the way down.
I love that,
Uh,
dude.
but knowing television and stuff like that, They Live to me is a documentary.
That's what it is, dude. It's a
It really
documentary,
is.
bro.
It really is. To me, They Live is a documentary like everything you see, like knowing television and how it all works and doing that, like it is absolutely a documentary on real life because like it everything, like your cat will just eat anything. And it needs like a meat based diet. But when you're at the grocery store and you're shopping for dog food or cat food and you're looking at all the you're shopping for yourself. It's a whole fun thing they're making for you. So the whole obey, buy, that is that they live is so true. It's
It
true.
is very true, man. Very true. And especially like the times that we live in now, like how many times do you talk about something and then all of a sudden, bam, it's on your Facebook feed. Bam, you're seeing ads for this, and it's not your algorithm or what you're searching, though they're listening.
Yes.
It's listening. And whether when you say they, that can be very broad. It right now, I mean, they'll want to say, well, it's not an actual human ears that are listening, but it's the AI, it's the algorithm. Oh
Yes.
yeah, and over here in the chat, and hey, you guys, anytime you'd like, pop in with a question. Welcome,
Yeah.
Cindy Simpson. Glad to have you here. Live light always. Live. We waiting on a great question. We got Julie Evans from England. Heck yeah,
Nice.
thank you, Julie. But you guys, if you guys have any questions you would like to ask Hack, put them out here and we will get them up here and we will ask away. But yeah, absolutely. You got stuff like the Matrix, all those stuff. It's kind of like this is not, it's not just the movies. This is reality. And, we've all had those questions. Like I said, you've all been talking about something, having a conversation, and then it pops up on your social media feed. And which to me is strange,
Yes. The one thing, like to not to go backwards, but on They Live, I would encourage anybody to a simple tasks like Edward Bernays. Look up Edward Bernays. He was the nephew of Sigmund Freud. And Edward Bernays, like to this day, like every morning, people eat like bacon and eggs at breakfast. That was just a marketing ploy. The whole reason you have that for breakfast is because a company hired a guy. They were losing sales on bacon and eggs, and they were like, "Hey, we need to sell this." So he made it a thing. Like, yeah, if you look up that, he laid the blueprint for the way everything is now. Is Edward Bernays? Look at that, and he was the godfather of marketing. And like the reason why, like you see stuff from the '70s, and you're like, "Why is it everything this ugly green color?" That same ugly green color was the same color as Lucky Strike cigarette packs. So they put it in the magazines and they made lamps and shades to appeal to women to get women to start smoking. And then Edward Bernays, after he got all these women to start smoking, he also did the campaign to get them to stop smoking. So he's the reason you eat breakfast every morning and why you eat it. And it looks at and it just blows up from there. So your phone is listening all the time. If you dig through the settings, you can find it. The algorithm, it's everything is constantly by and do it. So yes, it is. But I just wanted to mention that name because that's the guy who invented it.
And I mean, that's true. I am familiar somewhat with that story. And it's fact. You can't deny that when it comes down to it, money pushes everything. Money is the driver, is the reason why people do a lot of things. And sometimes I get a little worried sometimes in the paranormal world and with UFO investigatings and even in paranormal because there is whenever money starts getting involved. Whenever it becomes, now don't get me wrong, I love entertainment when it comes to the paranormal side. I mean, I love it. It's very entertaining. It fulfills that entertainment need. But at the same time, you have to be careful too if you're going to take it as a true investigating, and you got to view it from skeptical eyes. There's some things like you'll see, like there's television shows that you want to see and watch, and you're like, well, man, I get it, but that's garbage. There's no way that's real. You're just putting that on there to get views, likes, and clicks. But then there is the real stuff. Then there's the very interesting stuff. And, well, here we got a question here from Julie Evans. She wants to know, can we stop it? Are we able to stop this manipulation? That's a great question. I
Uh,
don't. I'm with you.
I will go into more, but a quick answer is no, because you got to think these $1 billion corporations get tons of people. It's not like they have one guy in the office and they're like, Jim, figure out how to sell this. They have an entire building that's probably half a mile long on the inside with 5 floors and 300 offices with these people just constantly. How do we get you to buy everything this? How do we get you to go to work every day uh, and work like a job you don't even really like? And whatever disposable income, how do we just take that from you? Like it's all set up so like you build the iPhone store, you have the iPhone store in there, and then they sell it to you. Like
Absolutely.
you build the whole thing that you're working on. But the marketing, no, there's no way to stop that. There is still good people out there. The only way to stop it is, just think for yourself. Like before you just go like splurging or buying, just be like, do I really need this? Do I really want this? Or is it something that you even want? Or is it just, does it look shiny at the time? But everything, it all has it in it. Not just television and movies. It's every single thing anything that is for sale, anything that has a barcode, has a whole team of people that only want you to give them their money. So there's no way to stop
And
it.
they're good at it. They're good. And I don't think, and like I said, and the more AI is involved, taking over, AI knows everything you like.
Yes.
AI knows. And I think over here in the comments, Liv had mentioned, the movie The Matrix being a documentary. It is, because that eventually, I mean, more and more people think that we live in a simulation anyways.
Now, me, I don't think that we're in a matrix. But I think where we are now, I think we are seeing the genesis of it. I think we're at the beginning. I think like maybe our next step is the matrix. I think we're seeing just right now. I feel like we're at the front door knocking on it.
Well, absolutely. It's very possible. Like, I'm a big fan of these, and I'm pretty sure I can give it a plug. But the Black Mirror on the Black Mirror series,
Yes,
and which is another thing that basically
really
is
good.
predicting the future when you watch it. You're like, they're doing this now, and the I think that we are so close to being a Black Mirror episode every day.
Well, a lot of the stuff you see in Black Mirror, those things have already been released in small
Yes.
doses. We're already using all that they're using in that thing, just in small doses. And and me, I'm only speaking on what I know. Like
Yeah.
I'm not a conspiracy guy or nothing like that.
Well, I don't. This is the weird thing, is I'm not either, but I think all of us got a little. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
I mean, you have to question. Here we got a question here from Cindy Simpson. Cindy wants to know, I hear so many people say about going off grid, but that's even so hard to do nowadays. It is. I mean, because it's like our phones are now part of us.
yes.
What do you think, Hack? Do you think you could ever go off grid, or do you think people stand a
Oh yeah.
chance?
Oh well, I can absolutely. I'm that type of guy. Like I can just drop it and leave it. Actually, by my back door is the craziest bug out bag you've ever seen in your life. I always stay fully prepared. I love the outdoors and stuff like that, and all the stuff I've done. Like I could live outside, but it's going to be a very very hard life. Think about the wild animals getting eaten every day. Going off grid, that means no television, no toilets. And I mean, you can simply shut the water off in your house and then just realize how much different everything is just because you don't have running water in there. So, well, I mean, going off grid, I mean, it sounds like, yeah, but I mean, survival. We just had bad storms, tornadoes, everything. Like trying to live it and do it would be really hard. If you can, absolutely do it.
Well,
If
you
you
know
can be
what? This is
self-sustained, do it.
something I think here, Hack man, is okay. I there's times I think, man, I should have a garden. I should have something to where I don't have to depend on the man. You know, but at the same time, who has in our busy hustle bustle everyday life, we don't have time to do the garden. We don't have time. You know, we don't have time to do these things. And it's almost
No.
like the system is creating, basically, it's almost like there's this powerful system that is making like slaves out of all of us.
Yeah, and another little interesting fact about going off grid. A lot of people look at like doomsday bunkers and stuff like that, like going underground. But the government there, they have their website up, and you can read rules and laws about everything. And if you have a like nuclear fallout shelter, the government already has regulations and rules, and they keep track of everybody who has one. And in the event of a nuclear war, they already said and stated that it's like a thing that they will seize them from you and use them how they want. So it won't even be really yours. You may not even be able to go into your bunker yourself.
They can do whatever exactly. They can do whatever they want. The Live Light, absolutely. Black Mirror, Blade Runner, Minority Report, Total Recall are all possible futures. Absolutely, they are. Especially Minority Report. When you ever see that, that's terrifying. But it kind of feels like they know what we're going to do before we do it, anyways.
Yes.
If you've ever seen that film, it's a great film. All those movies are great. I love the original Total Recall.
I would love. I was about to say I would love it. The future being Total Recall. Go ahead and send me there now. Like,
well, I think with
that thing looks like a blast.
They just started. Elon Musk just released that. What is it? Cyberlink or one of the things where it's in the brain. Now, granted. Whatever you think about, crazy Elon, I don't care. But I will say this. One thing he is doing, he is helping people with disabilities with this. And I think that is a good thing. Now, granted, do I want to stick something in my brain? I don't think so. Because there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong there. So I don't know if I want to do that. But also, when you think about it, how cool would it be to do like an actual Total Recall, have a dream of being, James Bond, and it seemed like a very real experience. You know what I mean? That would be so cool. Neuralink, thank you.
Yes.
And thank you, Liv. What did I say? Starlink. What did I say? But it's Neuralink. Yes. But that's happening now. So these things are becoming, more and more reality as we go. And one thing I do want to bring up too, real quick, about going off the grid. I think for people like me and you and some of the others there in the chat, guys, we haven't had technology our entire life. We have not. We do remember a time when we didn't have Google. We didn't have a phone strapped to our hands. But there's a whole new generation that have never seen or never know anything different.
No.
So it's kind of worrisome, like in the future, if there was a day that they had to try to survive off the grid, how difficult that would be for them. I couldn't imagine. So maybe it's important. I don't know, parents, take your kids camping. Maybe, turn the phones off, cut it off. That way, if we are attacked by aliens or a zombie apocalypse, and which, by the way, is all, that military plan you talked about, they also include a zombie apocalypse. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're right about that. Take the kids camping. Even if it's a thing they're not interested in, they don't want to do again, teach them those skills.
Teach them skills. And I tell you what, this is what we're going to do, guys. We got a commercial break coming up here. But as soon as we come back, we're going to dig into Hack's paranormal story. See you soon.
Have you ever wondered, or maybe just thought to yourself, if there were others just like you? You know, people with extraordinary abilities, psychogenic advancement, and perhaps unique intuitions. Maybe you just wondered if there were other people who experienced unimaginable, unexplained, or even unusual and paranormal events. Are there people who have more questions, more fears than answers? Well, you're not alone. You've never been alone. We believe you. Sign up for EA today.
Business. It's your property. Your assets are worth protecting. Blacklight Investigative and Surveillance Services specializes in patrolling and inspecting residential or commercial property against fire, theft, vandalism, terrorism, and illegal activity. People and buildings are monitored to prevent crime. Keep your property, your people, and your assets safe from threat. Our elite staff are dual licensed private investigators and security guards. Blacklight Investigative and Surveillance Services. Go to blacklightiss.com.
All right, we are back, and if you're just now tuning in, we have been talking with Hack from Hack's Horror Show. And right off the bat, Hack, we've got a question from Liv Light. She asked, what do you think about implants to scan for payments, like ID and etc.?
I'm sorry, Danny, what was that? I didn't hear you.
Oh, we had a question from Liv Light. She wanted to know, what do you think about implants to where you have to scan to pay things like the grocery store, just and for IDs and stuff? Do you think that's I'm pretty sure that they're looking into that now, doing that now.
That right there
That's
just
creepy.
Seems scary to me. I hope there's no implant that would dictate my entire life. Like if I could buy or do anything, that it has to be like me. Like I like it being a separate entity. I like money, whether it's a plastic card or what, but not being a part of me. So I hope that's not the case. I've heard a lot about that, them mentioning it, but I hope that's not the case.
You know, the thing about that, and this is how I look at I look at everything new. I always think about this when something new comes along. Like, I'm sure we can all remember our grandparents at one time, you know, probably thinking the TV was the devil. And maybe it kind of is. I don't know. But we do love television. We do love television, you know.
Yes.
But this just different. I don't care what people say. There's something weird about implanting, outside technology and inside my body to where we basically turn into cyborgs. And I don't know how comfortable I am with that, me personally. But still, great question. Yeah, I think it's creepy. Definitely, I don't like it either. Over in the chat, we see Christina has joined. Hi, Christina.
I guess I'm concerned about all of us completely losing our
humanity. Yeah, you don't want to lose what it means to be human. Let's do this. I want to hop over and get onto this topic. Like I said, you are engulfed in everything horror movies. But is there a story about where you had an experience and it wasn't a movie and it wasn't make-believe? It was a very real paranormal experience. Hack, we would love to hear your story.
Yes, absolutely. I'll start off by saying, very early on in life, I wasn't skeptic. I was just stone cold believing that, like horoscopes or anything paranormal just did not exist. So it was nowhere in my brain. And I would go to cemeteries, do all this stuff. Like I went to Bobby Mackey's haunted honky tonk when it was still there, and they said
in Kentucky. That's in Kentucky. Very haunted place, by the way, guys. If you have not heard about Bobby Mackey's, go Google it. Very haunted. But go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm there, and they're telling me that about the well and everything. So first thing I did was jump on the ground and stick my head in the well. I was like, oh, I want to see inside. Like there was zero fear whatsoever. And I've been to so many different places, haunted houses, anything that anybody said was paranormal, because I was watching all this on TV, like Unsolved Mysteries, anything you could think of, and I would just go do it and be there. And I was trying to encourage something to haunt me or spook me or see something, but I wasn't never afraid of it. Never afraid, not any fear. So when I stuck my head in the well at Bobby Mackey's haunted honky tonk, don't do that, kids. I did get in trouble for that, but I wanted to see for myself. If you tell me the stove eye is hot, don't touch it. I will touch it because I got to know for me, like to really know. So one night, me and a group of friends, my cousin, one of them is a professional wrestler as well, the Rabid Pitbull, Matt Raby. He was there, and his girlfriend at the time, and another friend of ours named Chris, and his girlfriend at the time. And we were all sitting there watching TV, and I believe it was Unsolved Mysteries. But it showed this house and all the paranormal things that were going on inside this home, and this family just left. And this beautiful big mansion is just sitting there boarded up with all the belongings and everything still inside. And I had seen it on TV and them talking about it. And I just turned around at the party and I'm like, hey, everybody, I know where that house is at. Like, I know exactly where that thing is. It's like 20 minutes from here. And we had the bright idea, let's go see it. It is way off the road there. You see just a big giant brick wall. And then when we got there, and the driveway goes on for miles and miles and miles. So we go down the driveway, we go to the house, and now I'm not going to like break and entering. I'm not going to break in. Everything's boarded up. So I'm like, okay, we can't go inside. But we're just walking around the house and I'm looking at it and I'm like, so this is a big scary house on TV. Like I'm not seeing anything spooky. It looks gorgeous, actually. Like I wonder what they're doing with this thing. I wonder what are they selling it or what? But we saw a little trail going off into the woods. We decided to walk down the trail there, and in the back we found a really old barn. Now it's pitch black dark and everything, and I would say like I don't want to get bitten by a raccoon or anything that's gonna surprise jump on me. Just knowing animals, I was like, man, something might be living in there, and I don't want to walk up on a big family of raccoons and then, like, I have to run away from them. Or
raccoons are scarier than ghosts, by the way, folks. Can be. Go ahead.
So my cousin Matt and friend Chris, they're like, oh man, don't be a wuss. Don't be afraid. And I was like, no, just stand out here with the girls and wait on you. So they go into the little barn thing. And I hear them going up the stairs. Well, I see in the top of the barn, there's an open window. And me thinking I'm going to be funny, I'm like, oh, you're calling me scared. I pick up a rock throw it through the window, and you hear this loud bang. And then you just hear both of them running over top of each other down the stairs, back out the door, and they're like, "What was that?" And of course, we're all laughing and having fun. At that point, it was like, "Okay, I spooked you guys. I threw the rock into the barn." And it was like, "Okay, it's getting later. We should go ahead and go ahead and leave." So we make our way back up to the house. And now, if you're looking at the house, you see the front of it, and then off to the side was a carport. And you could go in through like a little basement door and everything like that. Now, granted, this thing sits way off the road. There's plenty of trees. There is a gigantic brick wall that's 12 foot tall that wraps the entire property. So where you're standing and seeing stuff, there's like nothing in the sky, clear night. It wasn't cloudy. The moon was out bright. It was a summer night, so it wasn't like just pitch black dark. And there was lights on the house that still had electricity running to it. So you could still see like the carport was lit up and everything like that. But you can't see cars or anything else going around. Now, granted, like I said, like today I'm still skeptical about a lot of things. Like I can't explain what I saw, but we're all standing there in a group. We come back up the trail. Now we're standing at the corner of this house. And we're just standing there talking. We could see where the lights were. The lights were not located close to this thing. We're standing there talking. And where I was standing, I had one guy to the left, one to the right, and a couple in front of me. And I happened to look up at the top of the house, just admiring it. And I was like, man, I wonder if they, they boarded up everything. There's no access to it. I look up. And from the corner of the house, from the gutter, the size of a basketball, yellow light. It looked like almost like TV static. I could see through it. It was transparent, but it wasn't transparent. I could see through it. And it was a yellow ball of light, the size of a basketball. Comes from the corner of the house. Hovers over me for a second, goes straight to my feet where the ground is, and is gone.
Wow.
We're standing there. I'm getting cold chills talking about it now. It still freaks me out. To this day, immediately, one of the girls seen it, screamed. She's gone, running. She will never talk about it to this day. She won't bring it up. Actually doesn't even speak to anybody in that group thing because she just does not want, like she's just trying to block that part out. My buddy Chris, he's gone. My cousin Matt's just like, what did we just witness here? He's trying to process it. I'm frozen. I am completely frozen because it just went to my feet, like right at my toes to the ground. And it's not like it sank into the ground or anything. It's like it was like almost like a bubble. It didn't pop or anything. It was just gone. And it came away so slow, and it was huge, and it just came off the house, off the corner, and as it comes off the house, it just comes over, hovers, and then quickly right at my feet. So we're all, like there two of them, they're freaking out, and then me, I'm just trying to process this, and it's like it was a very, very quiet trip back home. Like I can't remember anything really much after that, but I don't know what I seen that day. But for me and the people there, I know a couple don't want to talk about it. A couple will. We all know what we seen. We seen a glowing, transparent yellow basketball fly off the top of a house and just go into the ground. I don't know what that is. I looked into like orb stuff and stuff like that, but the orbs, any picture I've seen didn't really reflect.
Well, a lot of your pictures of orbs can be explained off as being bugs or stuff that's dust particles and stuff like that. Live Light, our very own Live Light. She every episode she's got fantastic questions. Liv asked, did you feel a cold rush when it zapped down to your feet?
Yes. Cold rush as just like I guess the only thing I really felt was like just sheer terror. Of confusion, because I've never seen anything like that. So the thing I felt was just I was frozen. I couldn't move, and I was just, my brain couldn't process what I just watched happen, because that was the first thing that came to my head was like, I try to make sense of it. Flashlight, car lights, but I'm looking directly into the sky, and I'm not using a camera. I understand cameras, working with all of them all the time, so I understand how dust, lights, bugs, and everything, and how the focus works on a camera, and how it can make like it look like a floating ball, and half the time it could just be like a mosquito hawk, or a lightning bug coming by. But that right there, it was just like, we didn't have cameras. We weren't really doing a paranormal investigation. I just seen it on like the Unsolved Mysteries, which I believe it was Unsolved Mysteries. And it was just like, hey, let's go there and look at it. Like it was on. Let's go check that out. But
Which is
I did
very,
have that feeling. Like when I speak about it, I get that I get the cold feeling of it. Like all my hairs are standing up.
and that's a common reaction. I mean, for normal people, whenever you don't see stuff like this every day, the only time that I've saw a ghost, which I believe it was a ghost, my reaction was the same way. I was a kid, but I'll never forget it. And I remember there was a moment whenever I was experiencing it that I was frozen. I couldn't move. I was just trying to process everything that was going on in front of me. So, I mean, that's very similar, that's very common response to what, when they see something like this. The thing that's also interesting with you is like, orbs are talked about a lot, in paranormal investigating. And like I said, most of the time they can be debunked, but the size of a basketball, you said, correct? You said this was a much bigger, a much bigger glowing light. And it came down to you. So it was, maybe some type of an intelligent force. It knew what was going on. That and that's the other thing, with my paranormal experience, the person I was with, we haven't spoke of it since. I think it's a big reality shock when you see something like that you don't see every day. So, yes. And how long ago was this, Hack? How many years back was this?
This would have been in 2008, 2009. So it's been a while. It's been a while, but I could tell you, I've been knocked in the head a lot from wrestling, but that is one thing that I'll never ever forget. Yes,
well,
yes, that one was real.
Liv's got a question here for you. Another question: is there a paranormal investigation series or show in your future, especially with your expertise in camera tech and photography?
Yes. As Liv, you're talking about a paranormal investigation show. Actually, currently, I'm working on one. I'm an executive producer on the show. Nice. And I have a few other people. We've been going on these investigations and stuff like that. And I think part of the reason why they have Hack on the team is not just for comedy relief, is just because of the not being afraid. Like, I'm not psyched out. Like, we investigated a prison, and of course it's pitch black, dark, everything. I walk into the jail cell, close the door, and I'm like, you guys can leave. Let me just sit here and we'll see what happens. But that's the thing. Like, you go looking for this stuff and you want to see it so bad, and you want to like, I want that confirmation. The night I seen that glowing ball of light, was enough confirmation. And then at the time I was like, I wish I'd never seen that at all, because not being able to explain it or know what it was, and just that feeling of like what was going on there, it never leaves you at all. And that's why some people, like you said, don't want to talk about it. But paranormal show is coming. The What If Files, I'll give you the name to it. It's still in production right now, but be checking out that soon. Like, you'll see me on that. we're doing all this stuff. We have not found anything. And the show will be completely honest. If we go somewhere we don't find anything, we will just be like, nothing happened. We didn't see anything. There was nothing. And we have all the different equipment and then different stuff. And then we have the different approach of me. I'm like, okay, that you said that's a haunted refrigerator. Let me go just spend the night with it. Like turn
I
on the
think my
lights off.
refrigerator's haunted. I do. It keeps like making contact, like 5 pounds, 10 pounds here. It's I don't know.
Mine is haunted by me. Mine's haunted by me.
That's cool, right? I like that right off the bat because earlier how we were talking about how when you mix entertainment in with the paranormal world, you got to be careful about what is is just for views and ratings versus what's real. And so with this show, this is something that well, guys, tune in this week. We may find something, we may not. You have to watch to find out.
Yeah, now I absolutely know all the tricks and stuff. I could completely gimmick it up and make it like we seen this or something picked up on radar. I could do all that stuff, but I was like, no, let's be honest. If we're going to investigate it, we look for something. If we don't find it, we don't find it. If it's like if it don't come across very entertaining to people, that's not really like the goal of the show. Like other things are for profit and money and different things like that. This show is not. This is just a team of people that just like, they just want to know for themselves and be like, well, if we investigated it, here's what we found. Here's everything we've seen, cut and dry, just how it is. Like you said, like taking out the entertainment part. You see a lot of that and it's all entertainment, ghost stuff.
And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the entertainment part, but if you're going to take things, look at it from a serious point of view, and take this phenomenon seriously, sometimes you have to accept that, well, it's going to be boring. Sometimes it's not going to be, fun and games. And a lot of the investigators that I've interviewed or talked to over the years, they say sometimes, heck, I don't know if you've heard it, but I even got a joke in my show, where I talk about paranormal investigating, and sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's very boring, but
yes,
you're dealing with outside things that you don't really understand or, completely control. So you don't know. It's up to them. But if you do get lucky and catch that real good evidence, like what you had, it's a bummer you guys weren't able to actually capture that. But most of your best experiences, you don't have your camera ready. You don't have those things. It happens. And also, I think if you're dealing with any type of intelligent force, they almost know.
Yeah, and like the ball there, like it wasn't like it was like it just appeared. No, when I looked up at the corner, it was sitting on the corner of the house, and I was like, What is that?" Like, at the time, I'm like, what is that?" And then when I seen it, like, and that happened, I hope we don't find anything on these things. I don't know if my mind can handle another one of those. But like I said, I wasn't skeptical. I was firm, like, no, this is not a thing. So that's why I had zero fear. But now I have to say I'm skeptical because I seen a giant ball of light.
Yeah. Well, you should always be skeptical to a certain extent on some things, but your mind's also now open. Now, let me ask you this before we get out of here, Hack. Like I said, you did plug the Paranormal Investigation series, and thank you, Live Light, for prompting that. I think Liv's psychic. I don't know. I'm starting to believe we're gonna have to get Liv on the show.
She's awesome.
She is awesome, and so are all you other guys, Julie and the others that popped in to check us out tonight in the comments. Thank you guys so much. But Tony, you have so many other things going on. Where can the viewers watch Hack's Horror Show and learn more about you? Any cons, anything coming up?
Yes, you can see me at CreepyCon in Knoxville coming up, and a bunch of the Days of the Dead, especially on the Southeast Coast. I do go out west sometimes, but mostly Southeast Coast. I'm all over the place. But you can watch Hack's Horror Show on Vimeo. On your Roku device, you can add it for free. It's all on there. You can watch it on the Monster Channel. and different various locations. I know it's all on YouTube. A lot of people upload my videos, so I've seen them all on there. You can find it on there. Check that out. Check out Total Professional Wrestling. Check out Slash and Chill Productions. We just got done with our feature film, Tapeworm Z. We got a whole bunch more coming down the pike. Danny, we're going to be calling you for some more of those guest roles. But yeah, check out Hack's Horror Show, and also, you can find me on X, Facebook. I'm an open book person, so like if you wanted to ask me a question, I'll talk to you about it all day. I love hearing from people.
Awesome. Well, Hack, hey, thank you so much for coming on Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, man. This has been great.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you to all your viewers, all your listeners. I appreciate it so much, guys. Watch out for glowing basketballs. You heard it from Hack.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I love talking to Hack. Be sure to check him out at Hack's Horror Show. If you guys, once again, if you have not done so, head over to theexperiencersupport.org. Check out some articles by Ryan Stacy. If you are an experiencer and you'd like to share your experience with Ryan, reach out and let him know. Also, head over to Patreon at Heed the World and show us some love. Just a small donation of $4 will get you access to some very interesting information. So many things out there. Guys, if you haven't told people, tell people to check us out here, subscribe, follow this podcast. The more viewers, the better. We've got some fantastic guests coming up also. But definitely check us out at Heed the World on Patreon. And thank you all for tuning in to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. I'm your host, comedian magician Danny Whitson. Be sure to check me out at Super Magic Boy on Instagram and Danny Whitson Magic and Comedy on Facebook if you'd like to learn a little more about me. And we have been broadcasting live on the E-United Public Radio Network, the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, on 105.3 FM on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And like always, paranormal junkies, keep the paranormal normal, and I'll see you next week. All right, that does it for this episode of Beyond the Tinfoil Hat. A big shout out for tonight's awesome guest, and a bigger shout out for everyone who tuned in. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever it is you listen to your podcasts. And like always, be sure to stay curious, heed the world, and keep the paranormal normal. I'm your host, Danny Whitson, and this has been Beyond the Tinfoil Hat.